Hi out there in YouTube land. My name is Terry DeShields. I'm the owner of the Jewelry Doctor and Pawn located in the Old O'Galley Art District down here in Melbourne, Florida. First thing we have to do is we have to get rid of this. So, okay, we're just going to use this cutter, and I'm going to cut that stiff link and get rid of it. I want that loose link to stay there because I want to reuse this. Let's get rid of that big old glob of metal. So now, as you can see, I'll just twist this until it breaks. Out it comes. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take and we're going to cut this link right on the end. Then we're going to go over to the other side and cut this link right on the end. And then we're going to take these two links, put them together, and solder the two links back together. The first thing to do is to cut these, and you want to be really careful in cutting them because you want to go right in the middle, and you don't want to have any real flash when you cut them. Two ways I use to cut them. If I have a good pair of side cutters, I'll use them. But in this instance, I'm going to just use a scalpel. I want a nice clean cut. You can only do this when you're working. You can only use a scalpel when you're working with a rather thin link. And all I do is I just go in there. I'm up on top of a wood desk, and I just wiggle it and wiggle it and wiggle it and wiggle it. And next thing I know, I'm through the link. And then I just open that link a little bit with the scalpel while I'm in there, and you can see the link opening up just enough. I only have to open this link up wide enough so that it will fit over top the other, it'll intermatch with the other chain. So let's cut the other side. And you can see it just popped right open. The link, I open it up a little bit. Now the thing you can see, if you can see it up close, is that even these links are worn down on the inside. Now let's just mark the links. And I'm just trying to mark those two, even though a few more might get marked. But now, we're ready to go over to the charcoal block and put these links together and solder. Okay, now we're over here at my bench where I'll be doing the soldering. You can see the pieces are here. They're laid out. You can see the blue marks on the ends of the two that have to go together. I do need to make a line on here. And to do that, you could either use a needle and a straight edge, but I've got a saw blade here. So I'm just going to saw it a little bit. Just lay the saw blade down, put your finger on it, pull it back and forth a few times, and establish a line. That's all you need, that little line. That's all you need, this little line. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put the chain together. We've got it marked with magic marker, El Marco, whatever you want to call it. And what I want to do is I want to put this chain together. As you can see, the chain is slightly opened on both sides. So we're going to just feed it in here. Now we've got her together, and Just roll it a little bit each direction until that chain just lays right up on top of that mark that I have there. And as you can see, that chain is put together properly. And you got to get it together absolutely perfect. Now, in order to solder this chain, I need to get my solder to flow between this link and that link. That's the open ones, those are the broken ones. So I'm going to lay a piece of solder up on top of there. Now, see how they stay apart? But if you roll this chain just like this, it lays right down. What I like to do is I'll take a pair of tweezers, lay it down there. I'll lay them down right here. Now what that does, that just allows the chain to stay rolled up nice and tight so that it's not going to come apart when I go to solder it. We're going to be using a Smith little torch, one of the smaller flames, smaller tips. Since this chain is so well cleaned, a lot of times what I like to do is I like to coat them with boric acid and alcohol and float it through the whole chain. But being how this chain is very clean and I only want the solder to flow where I want it to flow, I'm just going to use a little bit of battered solder flux. Pick up the smallest piece of solder I can find. Note that's the smallest piece of solder I can find that I think is going to do this job. And my choices are, that right there is even too big. I want something small. That looks like a nice little sliver. And I'm going to put that sliver right down between this one and that one. My sliver's up there. Now what we've got up here now is we got the chain. It's all laid out. It's been put together. There's a little piece of solder that you can see. It's right there. And I'm going to pick up my pick now in case that solder moves, but the solder is right there and it's laying between the two links. I'm going to soften up this flame a little bit because I don't want it to be too strong. And what we're going to do is we're going to pass over the top of the two links that I want to join together. And as you see, the solder just bowled right up and it's right between the two links. I'm heating up. The solder shifted and moved away a little bit. I've got to bring it back over the two links. There it is right there. Now let's see what happens. On and off, on and off, on and off. The solder's flowing and bingo. That's it. Now, all we have to do is turn it over and do the other side. Keep it on top of the line, because as long as you got it on top of the line, there's a chance you'll be able to find it again. Now, let me pick out another piece of solder to do the other side with. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to roll the chain over, keeping it on the line. And you can see my joint right there. It's a good one. Coming over, coming up on the other side, and I'm going to solder on the other side. We just want to solder the two links that we have to. So over top my line, I see where I have to go. Let's just line it up again, right there and there, and there. Up on top is right there. Now we're going to heat this side, and we're going to see what happens. I'll roll the chain back a little bit. I want to put a tweezer down on top of it so it doesn't unroll, and keep those links more or less laying in line with each other. Now let's see if we can heat this without the solder flying off. There we go. Nice and slow. I want that to be right about there. And again, passing over the top of the chain link, over the top. Oh. I'm not exactly sure if I got it where I want it, so I'm just going to take another little piece and put it so that it's right on the opposite side of where that piece melted, so that when they do melt, they will float together. Another little thin piece of solder. This one ought to work. We'll put it there. Let's see if we can get it to lay down right in there. That's perfect. Now let's heat it up and hope it doesn't spring off of there when it gets hot. Sometimes the moisture in the flux will cause it to just fly. I'm going to heat it nice and slow, across the top. Easy does it. And you can see they're running together very nicely. And we're all done. That's it. Now just dip it in the water, cool it down for a little bit, and then I'll look and I'll see how it went. This is my joint. As you can see it, 2 links stuck together right there, and over on this side. So that right there sure does look a lot better than that big glob and that about a 1/2 inch long piece. So that chain is soldered. When it's polished, you won't be able to find it. I hope you learned something from this. If I can help you with anything else, or if you have any problems working with anything else, you contact us through egadjewelry.com. Ask us the questions. We'll get back to you as soon as we can with, hopefully, the answer to your problems. We also invite you to shop our 2 online stores. You can find them all by just Googling egadjewelry.com. And that's about all I have to say. Have a good day.